What's up everybody, SuperXFan here, and today I'm doing an unboxing and install and review video on the Steeda bushings and alignment kit. So Steeda was very kind and sent me these parts to install and review here for you guys today. So I'll just show you what all comes in the box that I got here. So we got some packing material, of course. Got some Steeda stickers that will be going on the car here. Got your invoice, and then we have the parts here. So these are the main subframe alignment kit is what they call it. Pretty inexpensive, and this eliminates a lot of the wheel hop that you have even with independent rear suspension here on the 2015 Mustangs. So these basically fill the gap that was left by the factory for whatever reason, and filling in these gaps with these bushings here really help to firm everything up and give you, a lot of good, elimination of wheel hop without giving you any additional vibrations or harshness. And this is the whole bushing support system that is just all these different things. And I'm not installing these parts myself because I have no experience with installing suspension components really, and so I think it's best to have a professional do all this stuff. After doing this, I will need an alignment as well, just to make sure everything's all aligned properly. But yeah. So anyway, that is the parts there, and so let's go ahead and get it installed. Alright, so the first step is to obviously jack the car up safely and make sure that you support the differential as well there, because you are going to be dropping the subframe. So we just loosened up the bolts at first, and I want to also say that this is far from a detailed install video. This is just to give you an overview. You definitely want to go onto the Steeda site and download the instructions and follow them exactly. But we just were loosening up all of the bolts here, and then you just go on and start installing the bushings here. And we started with the ones that were closest to the front of the car, and that was actually the easiest ones, those ones in the front on both sides, of course. But as you can see, you just put the one bushing in the sleeve and then the other bushing there, and you just put everything all back together, and it's pretty straightforward, and it's actually very simple and quick to do these ones here for the front part of the rear subframe. And then you want to make sure you tighten everything up again. And then you want to make sure you also torque it to the proper specifications with a torque wrench. So that's what you're doing. And you obviously do both sides, and then the front part of the rear subframe is good to go. And then the back ones here are a little more challenging to install, at least in our installation here, and so it's the same process essentially, but the way that these ones are installed, it's like a two-part thing, and the trouble that we had was trying to get the thing to go together completely, and as you can see there's a gap there. So what we did is it took a little bit of finagling and a little bit of the insulation grease, kind of goo stuff, and still wasn't quite all the way there, but again, you just had to finagle for a little while. It took us a little time to finally get it to all go together, but as you can see, we finally did get it together, and you just use an Allen wrench to tighten it all up there with the bolts, and then you put in the main subframe bolt, and again, you just repeat the same process on the other side as well, and make sure you tighten everything up. And that's it. Now, it was a little tricky to get to these bolts after as we were retightening them. So we used a crescent wrench to start it, and then obviously you can see we used the impact gun to tighten everything up all the way and get those nice and tight. And then, of course, again, make sure you tighten everything properly with the torque wrench.
Alright, so we now have these bushings installed and this alignment kit from Steeda installed, and now they say that it's recommended that you do an alignment just to make sure everything's good after this, because some cars from the factory might have been a little off, or during the install might have thrown things off a little bit. But I'm going to be doing some more suspension upgrades here towards the end of this month, so I'm going to hold off on the alignment, but that's definitely something that's advisable. But the car is still, it seems to drive great. I don't know if the alignment was even affected at all, but so it's It's really weird. Now, I paid close attention whenever I was driving this car to the shop to get the parts installed of how it rode and how it put the power down and all that kind of stuff, and how the wheel hop is from the factory and how it is now. And I'm on some roads here that kind of provoke it a little bit, some really bumpy stuff where the rear suspension can get really upset and have trouble putting the power down. And like we have a nice little corner here. And it's like more sure-footed. It's kind of hard to put it, but it's definitely less sloppy feeling. It's cleaned it up a lot, and it's just, there's like no fuss. It's you know, it used to be that even the tires would get like a little, you know, they would break contact with the ground a little easier, and now it just seems like it's so much sure-footed. That's the one word that keeps just popping into my head every time I stomp on it whenever I'm in a situation where it might have trouble putting power down, and that is that it's sure-footed. It really just feels a little more glued to the road there in the back, and feels pretty good. I'm gonna drive though for a while longer here and try and come up with some more impressions here, but you know, for the small price to pay for what it gives you, it's great. I mean, especially for those that are drag racing and stuff, it comes in handy even more. But just for daily driving here, I've already noticed a difference, and it makes the suspension feel a little more refined, you know, a little more European or whatever you want to call it. Just definitely makes it a little more smoother and a little less sloppy. Let's see about a little acceleration here. It's just I mean, you still get the second gear chirp and everything, but it's just, it definitely, it just feels more sure-footed. I wish there was more I could say. That is just the word that keeps coming to mind. Another thing though that I will mention is, you know, the Steeda claims it has no increase in NVH, and I've definitely noticed that it seems totally stock. It feels totally stock as far as the ride quality. There's no vibrations or harshness or stiffness or anything like that. It rides just like a factory car. You just put the power down so much better. It's crazy how the simplest of things can make such a huge improvement and just give you that little edge over how it comes from the factory. All right, here's another little turn that it just puts the power down so much better, because that one, I mean, it's an uphill left turn, and it's a little bit rough too, and so the suspension can get really upset really easily, and it doesn't. It does a really good job. All right, so here's another slight uphill, slightly bumpy section. We'll do an acceleration here and see how well it just, yeah, see, I've gone around that corner so many times before and gassed it through there, and you get a little bit of that jittery that you don't get any of that jittering with this. It definitely, it's much improved, and yeah, you know, I mean, some of this stuff, it's probably very small differences, but it's something that you definitely notice. I mean, I've got almost 21,000 miles on my Mustang now, so at this point, I know how it normally rides, and this is definitely different and definitely improved, and I think it's a great little upgrade. It's very simple to install for the most part, very straightforward, and a simple little thing that makes a huge difference. So I definitely recommend it. Huge thanks to Steeda again for hooking me up with these parts. All the links are going to be in the description for the parts, so you can check them out. And you know, they have stuff for all kinds of Mustangs. They do really great work. They've been around forever, and definitely a great company. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Let me know what you think about them, and I'll see you next time. Take care.